one area I am an expert in, traveling with your baby. I am an expert within this space, guys. This is where I can help. The rest of it is generic mum stuff. Like that's just me trying to help one mum to another. Like this is the real deal. This right here. Traveled with my baby who was 3 months old at that time. And I did a long haul flight with my husband and my cousin. So we had a little bit of support. So these are my tips and tricks and things like that. So first things first is like actually traveling with a baby is easier when they're younger. Like people don't know this. Like I had a wedding to go to and I had booked these tickets when I was pregnant. People were like, you're mad to take your 3-month-old baby to the other side of the world. But honestly, it was easier taking her on that 3 months trip than it has been on any other trip that we've been on this year, and we've been on quite a few. If you are planning to travel with your baby young, do it. It's the best. Like it's honestly the best when they're younger, especially if they're breastfed, because you don't even need to take anything with you. You literally just take yourself, your baby, their clothes and your nappies, and you're gone. First things first is get a bassinet seat. So bassinet seats are available and they are given when you request them from the airline. So when you're booking, you put in the request for a bassinet seat, or you book your ticket and you then can call up and request it. So most airlines for a long haul flight will offer this. It just basically means there is somewhere for your baby to rest and relax. Now, some people say, oh, my baby doesn't fit into the bassinet seat, like it's really annoying. The reason why you should get the bassinet seat is, one, you get extra leg room. So you and your partner, whoever you're with, like gets extra leg room with that bassinet. So one, why wouldn't you want that? Two, you obviously get early boarding and stuff like that. So you're in and you're comfortable with your baby, and then by the time you're ready to obviously fly off and you're in the air, the bassinet is allowed to come down. And even if your baby doesn't sleep in there, your baby can play in there. So it's a really good extra bit of space to have. Otherwise you're like most of us in economy, like you're just stuck in between seats and it's like really annoying. You just pop them in there, they can play. It's actually quite a nice little space. And then obviously if they do fall asleep, you don't have to be worried about them falling asleep on you and then you being really, really uncomfortable in a flight. You can pop them in there. And yeah, like, you know, it wasn't the most comfortable thing for our kid and it was a little bit small as she gets older, but it is still something that I just wouldn't fly without, especially while she's like under 2 years old. The second thing is to really look at your baby's nap times and timing and go from there. So what we found is actually night flights are so much better for our daughter. And the reason for that is it's easier for her to kind of wind down. We put her in her pajamas and then she kind of goes to sleep. She doesn't obviously sleep through a lot of it. I mean, sleep through the whole thing, sorry, but she does tend to sleep through a lot more of the plane journey when it's at night than it is at day. But what I found when we're on a day flight, it's so much harder to like kind of get her down, especially now she's like used to going to sleep by herself in her cot. Like she finds it really frustrating to go to sleep on a flight with all the windows open and it being really bright and a whole bunch of people that she's so stimulated by. So what I have genuinely found is that night flights are obviously better. So look at your baby's nap times, look at your baby's timing, and then plan your flights according to that. Like dummies and feeding. So this really helps with not getting blocked ears and like getting really frustrated when obviously the air pressure changes in the plane, like during takeoff and landing. So personally, I would just say the best thing to do is put a dummy, if your baby obviously takes a dummy, give them a dummy during the takeoff and during the landing, or feed them during that time. Just, you know, first couple of times like had her on the boob, and then after that I just had a dummy in because I just knew that I wouldn't have to worry about the air pressure traveling. Especially like if you're going on a decent sized holiday and your baby is young, like take a good pram with you. Like we took our bugaboo with us. Like people normally take travel prams, and I think travel prams are great as your kid gets older, but the younger that your baby is, it's good to have a really, really good pram with you, especially like with the carry cot. So we took our whole pram. We obviously checked it in. So one thing I advise is buying an actual bag to carry to cover your pram, so your pram is like all covered up. You don't have to worry about your expensive, mine is expensive, but your expensive pram getting damaged at that. Get a pram, get a cover for your pram. It's like absolutely something that I genuinely think that you should get. The younger that your baby is, the more your baby's gonna be falling asleep regularly. The older your baby gets, maybe you only have to worry about 1 or 2 naps, like, so you're not gonna be like mad stressed out, you know, if they're out and about. Whereas when we traveled, especially with a younger baby, she slept a lot of the time. So 2 things that we carried around was the sling, and then we carried around the pram when we were obviously out and about on holiday. And then when she was there, we would have her be able to sleep in the pram. And it was really good because I didn't have to stress thinking, oh, she's in an uncomfortable pram, she's in a travel pram which isn't that comfortable for her. And obviously, you know, their spine is still developing, their back is still developing. Like, I made sure I had like my good quality pram with her carry cot there, so she was comfortable and sleeping well during the day. So one of the other things is when you're traveling abroad, you need to check your car seat rules. So every country tends to have different car seats. For example, the car seat in the UK, which is tested for more things in Europe, it's tested for fire and a whole bunch of things. There's like things like that are not tested in the US. So it was just bewildering to me that the car seat in the UK is not accepted in the US. So the first time we went and the second time we went, we actually ended up hiring car seats out there. So find out what type of car seat you need for the regulation of that country. So allow extra time for security with a baby, because with a baby you're tend to allow to bring more things like water. You're allowed to bring water for your formula you're allowed to bring, but all those things they have to check at security. Now, unless you're going through Gatwick, I think Heathrow had this as well, but when I was in Heathrow, it took us absolutely ages to get through. But some airports, some airports allow, shall I take it? Yes. Some airports allow you to go through family check-in. If they have that opportunity, or even ask at the check-in desk, go through that family check-in because it's a lot quicker. Otherwise, you're waiting in the queue with everybody else and you need to get your essentials checked, like your formula, your milk for your baby, all of that sort of thing. And you're stuck in really long queues. So it can take longer, but if there's a family check-in available, which some airports do, I know Gatwick definitely do it. Like, we are in and out of Gatwick. We love flying through Gatwick, especially when it's open. A few times it's been closed. And also they're like so much nicer to you there. And the other thing to remember is your pre-board is available. So getting on the flight earlier with your baby is, you know, something that I would advise. When your baby gets older, rules change. I think, you know, if you've seen a few mums saying let your baby run around like crazy and then board the plane, and some people say get one parent on, get everything on. Again, like, we'll talk about that a little bit on, but the younger that your baby is, I think it's best to just get in, get everything that you need. Like, get your milk out, get your muslins out, like all the little bits and pieces that you need. Have an extra blanket, all the things that you need. Rearrange your nappy bag, rearrange this, rearrange that. Like, I think it's really good, especially when your baby's younger, to get on that flight earlier. So anyway, this is my advice on getting on a flight, traveling abroad with a young baby. We will do a older baby soon because my baby's close to 1 now and she has been on 8 flights this year. 8. Like, she is a frequent flyer. We're just trying to fly as much as we can while we don't have to pay for her tickets. But yeah, let me know about your travel experiences below in the comments, and Savvy wants to obviously have that conversation with you in the comments as well because she's talking a lot. And we will catch up soon, and I'm gonna go and change a pooey nappy, which I'm not looking forward to.